From the central coast of New South Wales, Australia, it's the #1 podcast for the X-Men animated series. This is Generation X-Men with Bender and Brooksy.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Steve. This is Generation X-Men. I'm Bender, and with me as always is Brooksy.
Hey.
Like the name suggests, we are Generation X-Men, and you are too. If you're new to this, what we'll be doing is going through all 5 seasons of X-Men the animated series, one episode at a time, giving you our thoughts, X-Quiz tally time, and most importantly, having a laugh as well. Now, Reunion Part 2, the long-awaited conclusion to Season 2 for us as well. The reason we're 2 months late is because I've been off with a foot surgery. Haven't been able to make the drive over to Brooksy's place, and rather than ask him to bring all the gear over to my place, I figured we'd put the show on hold for a bit. But it's off hold now officially, and we're back, baby, back to wrap it up with Reunion Part 2. Now, I remember this episode is geared very fondly in my head, less so tonight.
All right.
Straight off the battlefield, everything was very rushed.
Yeah.
They started to squeeze a whole bunch in here, like we got to wrap up all this stuff that we've been building for a whole season of it.
Yeah.
And when you're doing that, is it raising the bar too high to meet shows viewers' expectations? We'll delve into that shortly. But before that, it's time for X-Quiz.
Pop quiz, Hotshot.
Pop quiz!
Pop quiz, asshole.
Time for a surprise quiz?
Won't be a pop quiz on Wednesday. There's a pop quiz. Pop quiz.
Now, I've only got 2.
Yeah, there wasn't many X quizzes in this one. I've got a couple. I've got a couple of colours and a couple of numbers and that sort of stuff. But yeah.
Well, I've got numbers too, and I would like to kick off with this one. And, okay, here it is. Now, while the number varies, how many Sky Riders are in search party for Wolverine in their first shot?
There's 5 at the start, then there's 4 later, then there's 3 later.
That's right. They just start getting plucked off mysteriously.
I had that one.
Guys, my pterodactyl, she's getting too hungry. I got to go to the barn and get something to eat. Yeah, same with mine. I'm going with Steve. So they just keep vanishing and vanishing and vanishing until Kazaar and Wolverine start fighting just like 2 Sky Riders.
Yeah.
And it's like, But anyway.
So how about what card does Gambit try and charge up at the start of the episode?
I saw it, but I didn't pay any attention to it. Let's just call it an Ace of Spades.
No.
No.
It's the 5 of Diamonds.
Totally wrong. I swear I saw a black card.
He held it up there a long time, too.
He did. I was looking at how big his fingers were. Look at those sausages. And my last question. Someone is missing from the X-Men lineup. Who is it?
Someone is missing?
Yeah, someone from the group is missing. Doesn't take part in the episode at all.
Jubilee.
There, that is it. Thought I might have.
I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, Jubilee.
If you want to call her a part of the lineup, I'll call her a part of the lineup.
She's in the credits, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, you got it anyway.
How about what colour is the dinosaur that attacks Wolverine?
Is it cream or orange?
Cream brown,
Yeah.
That's what I wrote down.
I thought it was very peculiar for an orange cream velociraptor.
Another quick colour one. When everyone gets their powers back, Magneto powers up with a certain colour around him. Do you know what colour he's got?
Well, he's only got 2 usual colours that he powers up in. Well, his force field's blue, so I'll say the power returning is yellow. Is it yellow?
Correct.
Excellent. That was a pretty iconic power-up scene when they all get their powers back up. And we'll talk about that later on, but I just thought I'd bring that up now. Any more X-Quiz?
That's all I've got.
Yeah, it's X-Quizless. This episode pretty much down to the colours and numbers.
Previously on X-Men.
So previously on X-Men, we get another introduction to Sinister, and my name is Sinister. And then we have Magneto. He's like, I've heard the name, and frankly, I'm not impressed.
So much sass.
And then we get the Nasty Boyz. Versus the old X-Men, that fight scene. And then we get Sauron controlling the Professor, and then makes him call all the X-Men to the Savage Land. And then we get the X-Men in the Blackbird. They're flying into a trap. And brace yourself, we're going in.
Big recap of the last episode.
And that was all it was too, yeah. Like the previous episodes previously was the whole season, where this one is just what happened
Just
last
the
one.
last one, yeah. Makes sense, because this is the big wrap-up one. And I think they needed the time. Let's get into this episode quick, because we ain't got that much.
Break it down!
Break it down.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
Breakdown.
So today we are doing episode number 26, season 2, episode 13, Reunion, part 2. The original air date for this one was February 19, 1994. It was written by Michael Edens and directed by Larry Houston.
On ya, Larry.
So the episode starts in the Citadel, and Sinister is locking up the Professor, Jean, Morph, and Magneto. And Magneto is not wearing his helmet, see that?
Yeah, that was really odd.
It comes in and out and back, and it keeps changing through the whole episode.
Yeah, it was odd choice to have him without the helmet. I think maybe to make him look a bit more vulnerable, that his identity's out and he's not Magneto anymore. He's just another dude.
He's got a head of hair, though, doesn't he?
He's very well coiffed.
Big silver mane.
Very nice 80s perm.
So Sinister starts with telling everyone what the plot is here.
For those who came in late.
And he's saying that the genetic material of all the X-Men will be used to create an army of super mutants.
Yeah, I wrote that down, super mutants, because I thought, oh, that's interesting. I would like to see what his super mutants are. Like, well, it would have been cool to see, like, I've finished one of my products, the super mutant, and he comes out under a veil. What would this super mutant look like?
And the Professor's not happy that he's been duped into summoning the X-Men into a trap.
He got punked, and he's...
What can you do?
What can you do besides yell about it in the dungeon?
I have summoned the X-Men into a trap.
So we cut back to the Blackbird, landing at the coordinates the Professor gave them, up in the mountains, same place where the Professor showed up. And the Beast is straight into it. An uncharted tropical valley hidden in Antarctica. This is fantastic.
I brought this up when we were watching. That's quite the similar sort of setup for the film The Meg.
Okay.
And the lowest trench in the Atlantic Ocean or whatever in the Philippines, the Filipino trench, they say that's the bottom, but it's not. Below that, it's just like a hydrogen sort of gas. So they go through the floor of the trench there, and then there's all this open, uncharted territory where all the big monsters still live, because it's a bit warmer down there.
Okay.
So that's that whole thing. So this is not like this must be a prime idea for science fiction sort of things. It's just the hidden sort of places, like in Black Panther as well. It's just the sort of hidden place, and wherever Wonder Woman lives, Themyscira. So yeah, it's all, and the big giant shark movie. So yeah, the X-Men are looking over the X-Jet, and it's destroyed. Was it destroyed in the last episode? I know it's been a long time.
Yeah, well, I thought it was during the avalanche where it would have got destroyed, because he lands, right?
Yeah, so he lands, then there was an avalanche. But remember, they climbed back up the hill, and it was still
intact. Oh,
Can you remember after that? I can't remember.
I don't think they had any vision of anyone trashing it. Maybe the Nasty Boys just got bored and started attacking the shit out of it. But Wolverine has a really funny line here. Not his best landing.
Yeah.
Sarcastic motherfucker.
Not his best landing.
So they start to look around for clues, and then Gambit asks Rogue to move one of the pieces of the plane.
Yeah.
She can't pick it up.
Yeah. I said because she's standing on it.
It does look like that in the animation, that she's standing on the same piece she's trying to pick up.
That would have been a funny little gag. So a big fake out to maybe they've lost their powers. Oh, you're just standing on a shell.
So Rogue's like, my powers, they're gone. And Gambit...
I was surprised Gambit didn't run in for the pash straight away. Didn't run in for the kiss. They're gone. I'll get you now. Let me just test, shall?
Yeah, so Gambit tries to use his power. He can't do it either.
Mm-hmm.
So then Cyclops then takes off his visor. And then Storm says, our powers have abandoned us.
Oh.
And Beast suspects the phenomenon cannot be natural.
I'm really starting to notice everything Beast says is worded very fancifully.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't say anything normal anymore, so I'm going to keep a close eye on that, see if he says a normal sentence.
So then they are surrounded by the Nasty Boys.
Nasty!
And the Mutates. Mutates there too.
I love how you keep calling them Mutates. I keep forgetting that that's what they're
Why
called.
mutate?
I just thought they were part of the extended family, but yeah, they are the Mutates. And Ruckus says, Mr. Sinister has plans for you X-Men.
Clever stuff.
You like that line?
I liked it, the double XX, man.
Mr. Sinister has plans for you X-Men.
We'll never surrender to Sinister.
And then stupid Cyclops is then like, oh, we took you apart last time, we'll do it again. He forgot that he doesn't have any powers anymore.
And he's useless without his powers. Do you need to remind him about the Murloc situation? How useless he was underground.
So Ruckus then has to remind him that that was when he had his mutant powers. And the Nasty Boys are wearing these sweet belts.
The shiny belts.
And they aren't affected.
It's like a reverse mutant collar that just protects them from the anti-mutant power rays generated by the Citadel.
So, yeah, Ruckus says, you better watch your mouth and mine. And then it's on.
Hang on, if we pause briefly there, don't you think that the Slave Island would have really loved the Citadel setup instead of having to put the collars on all the mutants to control? But then again, they won't be able to turn it back on when they need them to do all the work, eh?
Yeah.
When Sunfire's drying the concrete. Forget that. Those slaves knew what they were doing. Not the slaves, the slavers. They knew what they were doing. I'll take it all back. So shit starts going down now.
Yeah, and the X-Men can't put up much of a fight without their powers.
They're all pretty crap.
And then, except maybe Wolverine, who pops his claws, and he's like, good luck, pal. There's nothing mutant about these. And I think popping his claws seems to hurt him. He's kind of paying that off. He's like,
he sells a bit of a pain, a bit of a shock, like he's normal. What? And then, so I figure without the healing power, even though he says it hurts every time.
Yeah.
It just hurts a little bit more because it's not healing straight away.
Good luck, pal. There's nothing mutant about these. What?
So, do you want to have the conversation about Beast now?
Oh, yes, please. What do you got for me?
What's Beast's powers?
See, that's another thing I was going to bring up. He's still in
blue form.
He's still got his blue fur, still got his big muscles, still got his claws, still got his feet. I would have thought because they're just muscles, surely they're just not going to lose all their strength when the powers are taken away. So I don't know what Beast's powers were.
Yeah, because he's still got his agility and everything. He's jumping around everywhere and breaking stuff. He just gets picked up and thrown into the plane.
Yeah, that's a little thing that they should have, again, should have explored what Beast's powers were instead of him talking to the blind person lady in that Beauty and the Beast. But yeah, I suppose they didn't want to delve into him shedding all the blue fur because if you want to get into it, that was just an experiment gone wrong. That's why he's covered in the blue fur. He's normally he just looks like a normal bloke with
big feet,
big hands. So he should have just turned normal there, but instead he's just not strong. That's the powers that left him.
So we get a deny claw attack here by Vertigo. He's just about to disembowel some guy.
Damn it.
And yeah, so he's going to take a held hair bag.
He's got to, disembowel some expendable mutates or the Nasty Boys.
And then Wolverine manages to escape by jumping off the cliff and down the waterfall into the river.
Yeah, Vertigo drives him off and he just fugitives out of there.
So is this the same waterfall and river that the Professor and Magneto went over earlier, you reckon?
Could be. It depends on what side could have many waterfalls at the top of that peak, but I wager it would be the same one because it still leads to Kazaar and the rest of the people, but it's not dealing with those Diplodocus and Loch Ness monsters and other little
pink
things.
rivers.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
So Wolverine manages to get away into the jungle, and a few Sky Riders are in pursuit.
5 of them.
That number keeps changing during the episode. The rest of the X-Men have been caught and are led to Sinister's lair via a labyrinth of these tunnels.
Yeah, that's
Did you notice all these dodgy tunnels?
They went on this sort of jungle trek and they're passing others. They're going through the tunnels and there's like waterfalls and bushes and a nice cross dissolve to show that they were still walking through tunnels.
So Wolverine manages to lose the Sky Riders in the jungle, and then he gets attacked by a dinosaur. And he's like, what is this, halftime?
I don't get that joke. What's that?
Nah, I don't get it.
Oh, is that like the basketball Raptors? Is that a team?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Could be a thing. I don't know.
Is it the mascot? Is that what he's saying?
The mascot.
Let's fight the mascot.
That's a pretty obscure reference.
Yeah.
For our American listeners, please tell me what Wolverine's talking about when he says, "What is this, halftime?" when he's attacked by a velociraptor? Because we don't get it.
Do you reckon it's a velociraptor? That was my other question. What do you reckon sort of dinosaur this is?
Well, it had that hook on its toe, like
Right.
the big claw that Alan Grant has in Jurassic Park.
This is 94,
Mm.
and then so they would have been made in 93.
It would have been... Well, that leads to why I think it is a velociraptor, because there's a stolen sound effect
Isn't there?
showing
What?
up. The velociraptors ripped the exact same sort of noises that you get from Jurassic Park, which came out in 93. So I can only assume they've just...
It must be out while they're making this, and they're like, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Definitely. It's like, oh, well, what's a good velociraptor sound effect? Well, look at the movie that just come out. Let's just pinch all these ones somehow. Man, they must have like insiders in the sound booth. Like, hey, man, what sort of sound effects you got? Well, you wouldn't believe this, man. I got a tape of the sound effects they used in Jurassic Park.
I bought my Walkman in.
I brought my Walkman in. I taped it. When Steve Spielberg had his back turned, he's off making another movie. I just got them all, man. You want to listen? Fuck yeah. I reckon that's how it would have gone down. Tape traders in the sound engineer department.
So I wrote this down because it was funny. Did you notice that he gets the dinosaur in a headlock?
No, I didn't notice. I was too busy counting its toes.
Well, he gets it in a headlock before he runs away, and then another dinosaur appears and tries to attack the smaller dinosaur.
You better hit us up with that line you dropped while we were watching.
There's always a bigger fish.
How about that, everybody? An episode 1 quote from Brooksy here, who supposedly doesn't like all those prequel movies. No one does.
There's parts of number 1.
So,
Like the big double lightsaber battle at the end. That's awesome.
indeed, yes.
That's great.
That's the best lightsaber battle we've seen.
All the terrible Jar Jar and billions of friggin' droids. Leave that shit home.
I like There's Always a Bigger Fish.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like the pod race. That's pretty
Right.
cool. It's good, yeah. And the lightsaber battle at the end. I think that's about it.
Even if you just watch that end bit, it's brilliantly scored, and you're like, oh man, this really revs you up.
Yeah, definitely. Let's put it on right now. I'm playing.
So Wolverine is then spotted by He-Man and Battlecat, who are up in the tree. No, wait, hang on. It's Kazaar and Zabu again.
Battlecat, I forgot all about that.
So can Wolverine still use his sense of smell here? Because he does the old sniff sniff.
Yeah, he says you need a shower or a bath.
Yeah,
here.
is he just a stinky bastard?
He could just have a lot of stank on him because he's living in the jungle. I think maybe it's just because Wolverine's always sort of primal. Even when he loses his power, he's still got that little bit of extra smell.
All right.
Like Mum, because she's Filipino, she just smells everything. Did I tell you about the story that she sniffed out a blue-tongued lizard
No?
in the backyard? She goes, what's that? Smells like a blue-tongued lizard. We hear her say that. What the hell are you talking about? Blue-tongued lizards don't smell like anything. Yes, they do, Nathan. They smell like that. So, bullshit. She went inside and we found a blue-tongued lizard in the backyard. Mum is Wolverine. Or she's got those primal smells.
So yeah, he does pop out of the bush here, and he cuts the top of the spear off, and he's like, I don't like being tracked, and you need a shower. So he does say that, but he must be really stinky.
Yeah, let's just assume that Kazaar is really stinky. He's hanging out with a giant saber-toothed tiger all the time, probably spraying him with his his scent. So yeah, he'd smell real bad.
So Kazaar is then like, don't pretend like you don't know who I am. Take me to your master. And how is this Kazaar's plan? That's what I've got right. Like, remember the last episode?
It's the same shitty plan he had last time.
Let's go to the Citadel. He comes in. Oh no, I can't win. I'm bailing. Just jumps out the window. Now what's he doing? Hanging around for someone else to come. Go, take me to your leader. Like, you know where the leader is. You know where the hidden passages are to get to the leader. What is your plan?
He should be recruiting people. It's like, hey, Outlander, help me rescue my people and I'll give you 3 of the hoes.
Terrible He-Man.
Yes, shitty He-Man.
So then Wolverine calls him Nature Boy.
Woo! I like that one. I really like that one.
He says he doesn't have time to talk and he tries to get away. Which leads to the Kazaar v Wolverine fight. And Wolverine has a cool claw draw here and knocks the knife out of his hand, then like does a kick to the face.
Follows up with a Van Damme spinning heel kick. I thought that was really cool.
That was awesome.
Really sells the point that Kazaar really doesn't know what he's doing.
No.
He can't knife fight. He got his spear cut in half.
Can't sneak up on him.
He can't track or sneak up on people. And he needs his werewolf, his Sabretooth to back him up always.
Yeah, so Zabu jumps in, knocks Wolverine down and into the ad break.
He knocks him right into the ad break. It's a good Battlecat, baby.
And so then, they come back from the ad break and Wolverine decides that, I do have time to talk now. I'm not with Sinister, all right?
This could all be avoided if you just communicate, Wolverine.
Wolverine says, I'm down in this fern bar to rip him a new navel. Now, that's a great line.
That is a good line. What's a fern bar, Brooksy?
A fern bar? I've never heard that before.
We need to look it up. I don't even know what it's in a reference to. A fern bar.
I'm assuming he's just talking about the jungle.
Oh, okay. Well, next time we go to the jungle, I'm going to call it a fern bar. And see how many. I've heard Fern Gully. Is that like a different location in a jungle or something? What you got?
Fern bar was an American slang term for upscale or preppy bar or tavern catering to singles, usually decorated with ferns or other greenery.
Oh, okay. A fern bar is just like a novelty tavern.
Yeah.
Maybe he's making a waiter joke to Kazaar because he's dressed in ferns and stuff. That's really odd.
Yes, it is.
Whenever I go to America, hey, everybody, where's the closest fern bar? I need to pick up some singles.
I'm down in this fern bar to rip him a new navel.
So then Kazaar again's like, join me. Everyone is imprisoned in the Citadel, and I'm the only one left. So Wolverine's like, not anymore, bub.
There you go.
So we get another bub.
Well, we got a bub.
We did.
And Kazaar's recruiting plan is going all right. Maybe just stop them next time.
Maybe just, ask them instead of just trying to fight them all.
Yes. So this is really Kazaar's fault.
And this is when Skyriders come back.
All two of them, I believe. The other ones are all pissed off. Maybe they're searching in other quadrants of the Savage
Maybe
Land.
they split up.
They split up. There we go. You're welcome for that, everybody. We're explaining all the continuity errors.
So Wolverine knocks one of the Skyriders off, and Kazaar takes one of them out and then jumps onto it, the pterodactyl, and then he knocks another one off into the jungle.
Okay, so
there was three.
There was three. And that's the one where it looked like Wolverine disemboweled.
He definitely killed that pterodactyl. Because you never see that pterodactyl again.
It looks like he was cutting just at the saddle.
Yeah.
But there's no way he'd hit that saddle without cutting the guts out of that pterodactyl.
Yep.
So that's pretty awesome.
So Kazaar tells Wolverine to jump on and they'll attack the Citadel. Wolverine says, does this leather chicken have seatbelts?
It's got another winner, baby.
And Zabu gives him the, hey, what about me face? And Kazaar's like, no, you got to stay here. And if we don't return, avenge us.
Poor Zabu. How would I know that?
How long do I wait?
Am I allowed to eat?
Did you leave me any food?
What would be another alternate line? Because Wolverine hops on the back there riding bitch. It's like, should he say something? I don't ride bitch. Then he tries to fly it himself and just horribly crashes it and mutilates it.
Pops claws.
Yeah. Better that they just went with the leather chicken one. So
back in Sinister's lair, and the X-Men are placed in a holding cell, while the original prisoners of Magneto, the Professor, and Morph are backstrapped to the wall with the tentacle vines.
My favourite.
I thought your favourite was Brainchild.
I hate Brainchild too. It's not as annoying this time round.
No, he's only got like 2 words.
Yeah, they learnt from the last one and they shut him up.
So Sinister explains more of his plan here and that he's creating super mutants instead of trying to work with the humans. So it's big, long dialogue here about, stop fighting between each other. We just got to get massive and kill everyone.
Yeah, he doesn't agree with Magneto, doesn't agree with Professor X. He just wants to get massive, kill everybody, and be the parent of them all, the father.
Big dog.
Be the top dog.
The mutant powers of all combined in each. As my children. You, Jean Grey, and you, Scott Summers.
He also explains here that he's waited his whole life to create with Jean and Cyclops. So his whole life, aren't they younger than him?
Yeah, I really don't get that one.
Nah.
Why them? So he's just searching for the right, most handsome, beautiful couple around, just so they have the good-looking genes or whatever, because their powers don't really sell it to me. It's like, why would you want them to have everything?
This is also where Cyclops tries to give him the uppercut through the bars.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Hey!
That's pretty funny thing from Cyclops. I'll back up Cyclops on that move. Tries to punch Sinister when he gets too close to the bars.
So then they strap Vertigo into this device, and Sinister explains how it's going to imprint portions of the genetic code from any mutant to another, increasing their powers in unpredictable but stunning ways. So he's going to use Magneto's DNA on Vertigo.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a steroid hit to make her powers bigger and better and stronger.
So Magneto's like, do it, Sinister, but shut up and be quick about it. He doesn't play no fools.
Ain't got no time for no game. His helmet's back on here, isn't it?
He does, yes. The helmet's back on when he's strapped to the wall.
Yeah, he's got, for a tough guy line like that, he's got to have the helmet on.
So he hits Magneto with the blue ray and then transfers it over the old Vertigo. And then Vertigo stands up and yells, Magneto's strength runs through me.
Yeah, it does.
And then she uses her powers on the X-Men in the cage this time. So then it seems to be like concentrated, multicolored beam instead of the usual hoops that radiate out of her.
Yeah, so like you said, it's a more concentrated, focused laser beam attack rather than the hoops. So that's the way to show that her strength has increased.
Yeah, so she is stronger. Like they're all keeling over, going, "Oh man, this is terrible." Where before Wolverine's like, this is bad, but I can stand up."
Yeah, it's the original is like a slow release Vertigo, and this is like extreme Vertigo. It wouldn't be pleasant.
So we cut outside, and Wolverine and Kazaar land on the leather chicken, and they bust through the door.
Yeah, you see Wolverine go through with the claws and start soaring at the beam that's got it locked. I thought that was cool.
And then they just start walking down the stairs, and then we cut straight back again. And then we're back in the cage where Rogue she's in Gambit's arms, and she's frightened, and she doesn't know how to fight them without her powers.
Yeah, that's right.
And Sinister's like, yeah, Rogue, she's next.
They're getting coupley. Grab her.
And Gambit tells her to be brave, sure. And then he said he's never said this to anyone before. Bullshit. Gambit loves you. And then he gets to kiss her because she doesn't have a powers to drain him.
That's right. Chances are he definitely would have told her to that swamp witch that he had
definitely
in the bayous. Why else would she be so crazy about him?
Especially when she put that ring on him.
He's slinging that dick. He's telling everybody he loves him.
So Wolverine and Kazaar then split up. And Kazaar's going to break out his people, and Wolverine will head into the room where Sinister's diabolical machines are. So Sinister picks up Rogue's chin here, and he says she's so beautiful yet so strong. And then you hear Wolverine behind him yell, "Well, I always did think I was kind of cute." And Claude draws, "Nice of you to mention it."
Man, Wolverine's scoring big time with these ones. Everyone keeps setting him up.
And then Sinister orders Wolfboy and Goro to attack Wolverine. He just runs straight through them.
Yeah, shitty Goro and Wolfboy have no chance.
No, he's paying no fools. And then old Gorgeous George grabs him from behind so he can't let the X-Men out of the cage. He throws him into some computers.
Yeah.
But that was a bit clumsy. Like, you know, stuff something up, George. What are you doing, mate?
Throw him in the bars, something that's not connected to something important.
It could have been the aircon. And then Vertigo uses her powers on him, but now she's back to the hoops again.
Yeah.
So is this superpower only last for a little bit? Or
well, she had
what?
a follow-up line there that said something like, my powers have not weakened, but she's just gone back to the hoops. Could say that maybe she forgot how to use it because it's new or something, but yeah, the script needed it to be hoops.
Yeah.
Because if she did have the super debilitating concentration beam, Wolverine wouldn't be able to bust everybody out.
Now we cut back to Kazaar, who's found his people with the typical single guard guarding them in the jail cell.
Yeah, we're guards.
And old Chana, the she-devil, calls out for the guard. She calls him over suggestively.
Yeah, she goes, woohoo.
And then old Kazaar runs up behind him, gives him a big double axe handle straight in the back of the head.
Double axe handle coward punch. This is the worst one I've seen. It's like, oh, man. He would not be let back into the club after that.
And now back to Vertigo, who is interrupted by the escaping prisoners running through the door.
It's Kazaar and all his hoes. You had a funny hoe line. So now get back to work.
That's all it looked like. He went to just release all the women. Yeah, like, I don't need all the warriors to fight with me, and I need all my bitches.
All the courtesan's pleasure.
What is with this courtesan?
Master had a really good time with his girl. Oh, man.
Oh, man, that's a great movie.
That's a good movie. Everybody go check out Balls of Fury. You will not regret it. So good.
I don't really know what pandas eat.
Could be dead. I don't know. It's got Christopher Walken in it.
How's everybody feeling?
How's everybody feeling this afternoon?
All right.
I don't want to work.
I just want to play these bogos.
Good movie. Put it on. Put it on right after that last bit of Phantom Menace.
Become one of the master's slaves. They cannot help you.
You'll have to kill me first.
So yeah, all the escaping prisoners come run through the door, and then Ruckus screams them all back out, and your mate Brainchild runs over, shuts the door.
They got punked out so easily.
So I'm glad we knocked them out of the jail so to help. Wolverine then takes his time to cut Morph and the Professor free. The two most useless people.
That's what I said. You couldn't have picked the two more useless X-Men to free.
Before Vertigo hits him again with the hoops.
Yeah, and that's what's really done him this time.
And then the Professor and Morph manage to start to destroy the machines. The Professor picks up a chair and just starts wailing on the computers while Morph starts pulling out the tentacle vines. And then there's just all that goop and ooze going everywhere. You're like, oh, man.
It's like, what is driving these machines?
But this manages to do the trick.
But it works instantly. And Professor falls to the ground. He can't use his legs
My
anymore.
legs. Is that the first thing he notices? That's not that he can hit.
He can suddenly hear everybody's thoughts. It's just like, my legs. Well, he probably got used to having legs because having legs is awesome.
Yeah, you know about that, right, wouldn't you?
I know. I've been in a moon boot for the last 10 weeks.
This'll teach you to keep your paws off the lady.
So the X-Men seem to be charging back up now at their powers. It's pretty cool scene here.
And the rev up music returns. The first time I've heard it in a while. That's when we see Magneto glowing yellow earlier with the X-Quiz. I always remember that scene being extra cool. Because when Magneto powers up, it's like, okay, we're going to see him use his powers for good this time because they have the same enemy. He's always been the villain before. Well, he was on their side when they did the Sentinels, but this time he's teaming with them again, and he's going to kick all the Nasty Boys and the Mutates' asses for all the shit that they've been giving him for the last season.
So this is the big fight scene here with the Nasty Boys and the Mutates.
Yep.
And yeah, they're just no match for the pissed off X-Men with their powers back.
Fully powered X-Men. I've got a note here saying Amphibious exists only to be thrown across the room. Because in every fight that he's had, he's just either just monkey flipped over his shoulders or hip tossed all the way to the other side of the action. I was like, boy, Amphibious is the shittest toad ever.
He's hopeless. He
He's
got nailed by Storm without power.
Yeah, that's right. He is so garbage.
So Vertigo then stands up to use her powers on them again, and Magneto's not having it this time. Yeah. And he just starts coating her in all those different pieces of metal. That was pretty cool.
That was really cool. It was real sort of like claustrophobic sort of attack where she goes, I'll succumb to vertigo or whatever, and he just shuts her up with all this metal that comes from flying out of nowhere. And then he gets dog shotted.
He gets dog shot in the back by it's Mr. Sinister. That's great.
He nails him real good. It's so hard his helmet comes off.
And that hole in his back is there for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, that's good continuity on that. And there we go, again, proves like my theory that Mr. Sinister has a higher accuracy with his energy beams than any other sort of villain. He always seems to connect with somebody. That Mr. Sinister, he's got good aim.
Sinister then says, "You deny the future, so you shall not live to see it." before he gets dog shot by Cyclops.
And they're always awesome, and they're always hilarious.
And wouldn't you think, like, Cyclops, the only guy that can nail Sinister, would you let him get out of your sight? Like, you're just like, where the fuck is Cyclops? I don't want him sneaking up on me again.
You tie a bell to him like you would a cat. Okay, he's over there. Okay, I can mess around with these people because Cyclops is still in my line of sight. Well, you know, Mr. Sinister's very arrogant. He never thinks he's ever going to lose.
So Sinister's then on the ground. He's still saying all that shit about how he needs both Jean and Cyclops. And then Cyclops just keeps returning fire on him. He's just not happy.
No, Cyclops is pissed again.
And then he activates the chip in Morph's head.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sinister blasts a beam at Cyclops, who returns fire, and they're pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, they're stuck in the sort of Kamehameha Dragon Ball Z sort of battle when it's just the two competing beams. Beam wars.
Morph grabs a gun from the console and shoots the professor in the shoulder.
Yeah, Professor tries to talk to him and say, hey, you don't need to do this. Whatever, and then just bam in the shoulder.
So do you think that he purposely shot him in the shoulder? I think he's just a bad shot. I think he's a bad shot.
Well, it makes sense that he'd be a bad shot, seeing how he's completely evil Morph. But if you really want to talk about it, maybe good Morph is fighting from underneath there and just give him a warning shot in the shoulder. But I want to mention, like, whenever in this episode, well, throughout the whole season, whenever Morph is evil Morph, he gets the dark Beetlejuice circles around his eyes. This time round, he didn't get them. It was like, were the animators just lazy that day, or they didn't really feel like doing the purple eyes anymore, or was it too creepy, or was it just not necessary? It was like, why didn't the purple eyes come back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit cheap looking.
So as Morph advances on Cyclops, the Professor uses his powers to tell Morph that he's still part of the team and that they are his family.
Yeah.
And that he will always be an X-Man.
And that rings throughout his head. And then he turns the gun on Sinister, right?
Yeah, which seems to be enough to overcome the battle between Sinister and Cyclops. And then Sinister explodes.
And that's where you hear another stolen sound effect from Terminator 2.
Oh, yeah.
And the T-1000 is blasted into 1,000 pieces. Morph should have said hasta la vista, baby. before shooting his ass. Because you hear that psh.
And then Slab says, he's gone all to pieces.
He's gone all to pieces.
Hasta la vista, baby.
It's gone all to pieces.
And then Brainchild comes running over to all the pieces, starts picking them up.
I'll save you, master.
And then all the other Nasty Boys, they just take off.
The Gonskis. But then we complete the Terminator 2 reference. All the pieces start to liquefy and reform, just like the T-1000.
He starts to T-1000 himself back together.
So someone else like a Terminator should have said, we don't have much time.
And then he says, the future cannot be destroyed so easily. And Jean says, yes, it can. And she picks up all the pieces with a telekinesis and then scatters them into the air.
And you hear that sound effect again, even though it just should be a whoosh sound effect. You hear the psh sound effect. So that doesn't make that noise when it's being flown across the area. That being said, the Terminator, John Connor and Sarah Connor, needed a Jean Grey in that situation when the T-1000 is in 1,000 pieces to quickly pick it up and chuck it in the lava. If I was one of them, I would have found like a shovel or something. Start shoveling the T-1000 into the molten steel as quickly as I could. I always think about that one. Someone get a shovel. You're in a bloody industrial there. Start shoveling him in there. Jeez.
So then we see Sauron's hand pull a lever, which causes the Citadel to start exploding.
That's right.
And the X-Men make a break for it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's sort of
they
like
don't make a break that far though.
No, there's sort of like this scene of like Magneto covering everyone in his sort of like force field.
That's right.
But then they just cut away from it. It's like, oh yeah, everyone got out.
Yeah, he puts the force field up, then boom, 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 boom. The Citadel explodes. The jet with the Nasty Boys fly away, and the very next shot is them repairing the village, right?
Yeah,
or repairing a village.
Yeah, they cut back to Kazaar's people in their village.
Yeah, they're fixing up the brothels.
And then they load Morph onto the Blackbird, and the Professor explains that he can remove the device from Morph's head once they get back. And Magneto tells him that it was good to fight alongside the Professor again. So Charles asks him if he wants to join the X-Men, but Magneto says they can never be, as they each have their own destiny and only the future will prove which one of them is right.
Come on, Magneto, just join Team Xavier.
So Magneto takes off in his orb and the X-Men take off in the Blackbird.
Yeah, so in the wide shot you see the orb fly away and you see the jet fly away.
And then we see Sauron.
The savage land is cleansed of outlanders. Now, its true future begins.
And then he flies off over the beach. And then on the beach, we see Sinister's face sort of pull back together. And then he starts to laugh maniacally. And that's the end of that chapter.
And that's the end of that chapter.
So, what do you think?
Well, yeah, just in that final wrap-up, you can see what I meant at the start of the episode when I said it felt rushed. There was so much to explain that half of it did.
Yep.
You see Kazaar's village being fixed up. You see Morph getting pulled back onto the Blackbird. See Xavier and Magneto talking, and that's about it. But there's so many other stories, like what happened to the Nasty Boyz, Wolverine's relationship with Kazaar, Magneto and Xavier's relationship with Kazaar doesn't get talked. You don't see Kazaar talking to his people about what they're going to do next. And they set up all these storylines and they paid off like 3 of them in the end. 3 of them get resolved in this finale, which is fair enough. You don't really need to see Kazaar talking to, what's the she-devil's name again?
Shana.
Oh, and bloody Zabu. Where's Zabu? Is he still waiting in that spot?
He's ready to avenge.
And Kazaar didn't get him. See what I mean? They just set up all this stuff and they just sort of ran out of time. But jam-packed full of stuff here. Not full of action. Enough action. But there's just a lot of things that aren't really explained that I would have liked to have seen get a sort of a bit of finality in this episode.
I think there was too much of Wolverine running away. I think they could have toned down the Wolverine running away and all that sort of crap. Because that led to nothing anyway.
Yeah.
Like, we just need to get Wolverine there. So have a bit less of that and, a bit more action.
Another thing they didn't talk about was when Gambit said, "I love you."
Yeah.
It's another big thing that they set up and doesn't really get revisited again.
No.
And we could have had another thing with Rogue being able to not being able to touch people now because the powers aren't there. That wasn't explored again when they were wrapping up there. It's just more or less just became about Xavier and Magneto, which is basically what all the season was, with all the cutaways to the Savage Land. But is that how you'd make it better? Just get rid of the Wolverine running and a bit more action?
Yeah.
Yeah, the action that we did get wasn't that super memorable action that I really like. And,
No.
Yeah. All the Wolverine quotes, they were pretty good. He's pretty funny in this. What was your favourite part?
I think my favourite part has to be the ending because of Sinister's face on the beach, because it's so memorable to me. I could remember that part since I was a kid.
That's a good bit, yeah.
Very similar to the watch being magnetised against the Professor's chair. Yeah.
Is that an image that really sticks out in your mind as being, that's X-Men the Animated Series?
That was the end of season 2, I remember that.
Wow, very cool. Because, that's interesting you bring up the watch being magnetised. That is a really iconic moment in the series. But, that's way more iconic than the face in the sand, but I do remember that. But I also do really remember, I'll say my favourite bit is when Mr. Sinister is disintegrated, because it does remind me a lot of Terminator 2, and when he starts forming again, because I think around the same time I started watching X-Men, I was really getting into Schwarzenegger as well.
Okay.
I can't remember what year I started watching X-Men, but I think like year 3, year 4, that's what I was like, all right, X-Men, all right, Schwarzenegger, when are these two going to meet? When's Arnie going to be Colossus or whatever? So that's my favourite bit, when Mr. Sinister gets disintegrated.
So what was your favourite quote?
All right, there's a lot of good quotes in this one. I mean, you get the classic, the name is Gambit, remember it? Well, I always did think I was kind of cute. Gobblegoop, someone gets called. Our powers have abandoned us. But I think I'll go with the opening line of Wolverine when he sees the crashed jet And he says, not his best landing. That seems like a line that I'd really like to be able to create with my films and stuff. Something that's just really sarcastic, really funny, and really true to the character. It's just, in light of a heavy situation, he's still be able to like lighten the mood with a one-liner like that. And it's such a cheeky sort of thing to say, not his best landing, because the thing's fucking totaled. So that's my favourite line. What about you?
I've gone with another Wolverine line.
He had heaps. He's the man in this one.
Does this leather chicken have seatbelts?
I thought you were going to go with that one, so I didn't pick that one, so I went with the first one. But does this leather chicken have seatbelts? It's
a bit more random. I like that.
It's very random, isn't it? Yeah, well.
Does this leather chicken have seatbelts?
Has it been documented in the series that he has a fear of flying, or he doesn't like flying? Not fear of flying, just doesn't like flying.
No.
It's in the movies, I think he always talks about it. But yeah, that's a nice... If that is a reference to him not being able to fly very well, that's a good line.
So how do you rate this one?
Well, what I'd rate this one, just based on the strength of Wolverine's one-liners alone, I'll give this one a 6.5, because the one-liners are really funny. And just noticing all the stuff that we did tonight, I think there was a lot more set up than there was paid off. And I do appreciate the ambition that they were trying to do here. I wager if they had maybe 10 more minutes to flesh out the stories, we would have got something. They just ran out of time because it is a cartoon. It has to be in and out, one and done in, say, 22 minutes. But, yeah, really good one-liners in this one. Wolverine carrying the show again. 6.5 for me. You?
7.5.
7.5.
Yep.
Oh, that's a very generous one.
Yeah, but I think the ending, because it was so memorable.
Iconic ending, yeah.
That's bumped it up a little bit for me. So.
Iconic ending, Sky Riders, Terminator 2 references, and Jurassic Park references. Yeah, it's a pretty solid episode. Not one of my favourites, but better than we've seen so far. And a pretty good conclusion to Season 2, don't you think?
Yes.
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 Affirmative.
These. What?
All right, it's time for tally time. What do you got, Brooks?
So, although Beast had a few lines in this, no quotes.
No quotes.
Claw draws. We had plenty of claw draws this episode. Do you know how many?
No, I don't know how.
Take stab.
I'll take stab and I'll say 6.
11.
Oh, shit, creamed.
There's 11 claw draws in this episode.
4.
So, plus the 48 already in this season, it is 59 for the season. There was 44 for Season 1.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We smashed them.
So smashed that. So we're up to 103 now.
I suppose that would have a lot to do with Repo Man and Wolverine just getting them in on that one. And, yeah.
And Bub. We've got another Bub in this one. So up to 6 Bubs now.
Excellent. It's climbing up. We're getting there.
And Jean didn't faint in this episode.
Yeah, she's sort of helpful. She held the force field up there during one of the battles.
And then, sound effects, as we spoke about the old Jurassic Park.
Got Jurassic Park with Velociraptor and T-Rex, and Terminator 2 with a smashing of the T-1000 used as a placeholder for the Sinister smashing to pieces. There's not much Marvel movie news that has popped up since we've been away. Deadpool 2's come out on Blu-ray. Venom trailers are coming out, and Captain Marvel images have been released. There's been a couple there that have been interesting to me. Have you seen? There's the Skrulls or the aliens on the beach. I believe they're Skrulls, aren't they?
Yep.
There've been the de-aged Nick Fury, which is the youngest Samuel L. Jackson's ever looked in cinema, which just looks
no
weird.
one's seen him,
No one's ever seen him that young. The youngest he's been has been in, like, Goodfellas, or when he was in, not Trading Place, what's the other, Coming to America.
All right,
That's the youngest I've ever seen him, and he doesn't look that young. That's what he does as Nick Fury being de-aged. And then you see Captain Marvel with a couple of aliens. There's Jude Law, Ronan the Accuser, and one of the other guys from Guardians of the Galaxy, the one who doesn't know who Star-Lord is, goes, who? That guy. You see them in their sort of, whatever space patrol they're a part of.
All right.
I'm not too familiar with the Captain Marvel
No, never mind.
mythos. And that trailer comes out next week, right?
Apparently, yeah, this week, next week, it'll be out.
It's
so-
coming out soon, so we'll be able to talk more about Captain Marvel when she comes out. So I'm really interested to see what they do with this film. Like the images didn't break the internet, like Brie Larson said. Maybe the trailer might, but I doubt it. The internet was broken before her, and so we'll see what the story will be about, how it fits in, and it's like a intergalactic. I'm really getting into this intergalactic sort of stuff now.
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok,
Well, it's
and
working.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, it's working. Oh yeah, and what's his name? Who's the director of Guardians of the Galaxy?
James Gunn.
James Gunn got sacked. Do you have any thoughts about that? I mean, man, tweets coming up from 10 years ago is bringing down these powerful directors. I'm like, as soon as you get famous, delete Twitter, don't get involved with politics, and just stick to making movies. I mean, what? He's lost it all just based on those offensive tweets that were only kind of funny or jokey or whatever. But now all the actors are signing petitions, bring back James Gunn. It didn't work. Batista's threatening to walk off.
Yeah, Batista won't shut up about it.
Yeah,
Really.
Batista won't shut up. He wants James Gunn back. And I've heard reports from like movie news websites that the crew for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 have been released. So go look for other work because it's definitely on hiatus.
But do they really need another Guardians?
I don't think so. For me, Guardians 2 didn't feel like it added
It's
much.
like Iron Man 3. Do we really need that?
I suppose, yeah, we don't need it, but it's going to come out anyway because these things tend to come out in threes. I don't know where it could possibly go from here. I mean, we'll see what happens after the snap and Avengers because, what is it? Captain Marvel's coming out next, and the next one is...
I'll run through them. So
sweet.
you got Venom October 4, and that's the last one for this year. And then next year you got Dark Phoenix February 14.
Yep.
You got Captain Marvel March 8, Avengers 4 May 3,
Right.
and then Spider-Man July 5, and then New Mutants August 2.
Right. Okay, so the MCU will be wrapped up with Avengers. It'll be Captain Marvel, Avengers, and Spider-Man, and then there's the other X-Men stuff with New Mutants and that. Okay, so we'll find out later what happens to the Guardians. But again, I don't know if it needs a 3. There will be a 3. They're retooling it at the moment. I'm not sure if they'll use James Gunn's script. I'm not sure if Batista will be back. There's talk that he may not survive the return of the snap because if he's a difficult actor to work with, just be easier just to have him not return. Even though even he's saying if it's not up, just let me out of my contract. It's like it's a pretty bold move from Batista.
Yeah.
I mean,
what else has he got going on?
exactly. He's got that Die Hard ripoff in a soccer stadium that I don't think anyone's lining up to see. Escape Plan 2 with Sylvester Stallone. I was like, he's really...
Escape Plan 2. I saw the shorts for that the other day.
He's got a lot of confidence in himself that he doesn't need the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I kind of think he does need.
Yeah.
He's the one who shouldn't be putting up the most resistance about this sort of thing. Everyone else seems to be pretty quiet about it. So, let Batista do all the talking. But who do you reckon's going to replace him as a director? There's talk of getting that Taika Waititi on.
I'm glad you said his name because I can't. But I enjoyed Ragnarok. I thought he was really good.
I really loved Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Of all the MCU movies, Ragnarok's the one that of the recent ones that I've rewatched many times. Like, I need to see that one again because that's good.
Yep.
I'm vibing Ragnarok. Well, let's talk about bringing him back, even though it's a similar sort of... They're both comedies, but I can see there's a different flavour to Taika's jokes as opposed to James Gunn's jokes. Will they mesh? Won't they? Either way, it's pretty much a thankless sort of job. The internet loves James Gunn and everything he's done with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if I'd want to be the director to come in and do it. Mate, of course I would. Unknown director. Nathan, Ben, you want to direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Sure, why not? Let me direct other things, but everybody else would hate me. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's an unenviable position to be in that director's shoes. Would they try and hire a young gun director who's up and coming, or you just get like a play-by-numbers journeyman director just to direct the pages. Interesting times. The first time that Marvel have been in a sort of shit fight or clusterfuck going on. It happens at DC all the time.
Yeah, which we have heard nothing from.
Yeah.
What do you got, buddy? Aquaman coming, that's it.
Got the Aquaman coming, and we've got Shazam, the other Captain Marvel.
And old mate's not going to be Superman anymore.
No, Henry Cavill's not going to be Superman. Ben Affleck's not going to be Batman. There's that weird Joker movie coming out that they've just started working on with Joaquin Phoenix, another weird name to pronounce. I mean, it's a bit of a mess over there. What Disney's doing right with Guardians 3, shutting down production, is what they should have done with Justice League.
Well, now they've got the X-Men to come in too.
Yeah.
So
they just got all the properties coming back. So we'll see.
You got that and Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's
go with
right.
as well.
Well, that'll be cool to see the Fantastic Four.
The third time lucky.
Third time. Because, I was just talking to you about that. I just watched Fan Four Stick, the newest Fantastic Four reboot or whatever. And
shouldn't have.
That was a bit of a mess, man. I mean, there's one cool bit when Doctor Doom's just walking through the hallways punking everybody, but the whole movie doesn't get as cool as that one bit. If that one bit was just times 1,000, we got a winner. But Doctor Doom looked like a crash test dummy. It's just not very good. So his voice is all right. But, that was a bit of a cluster. But all the rights are back with Marvel now, and any sort of X-Men or Fantastic Four movies or Silver Surfer movies, they'll all be probably intertwined with the MCU now. Also heard a rumour that there's 3 new Blades movies coming in the pipe. It was just tweeted.
How are they going to get to do that?
I'm going to try and tap Wesley again,
Yes,
because he's the one who shared it on my Facebook page.
There you go.
I was like, wow, getting Wesley Snipes back for a whole new Blade trilogy, that'd be pretty cool, especially if Marvel are pulling the strings and they've got like a complete arc in their head, and it's just not going to turn into fucking Chihuahuas with Reaper tongues and Triple H and Ryan Reynolds in his bad Marvel movie stage.
Ryan Reynolds just doing Deadpool without the costume.
Doing Deadpool with a funny beard. Yeah, that shouldn't have been a Blade movie. I mean, I really like Ryan Reynolds in that. He was really good, but it's just not next to the Daywalker.
Well, that's what they said. He read Deadpool and then pretty much did that.
Oh well, he nailed Deadpool. If that's all he needed for a Deadpool audition, that film should have been made after that. But and I was a big fan of Blade. Still am a big fan of Blade. It's going to explain why the Daywalker's a bit older, because he ages just like us. He can still go. And plenty of more stuntmen and CGI to make Wes look amazing now. So I'm keen to see where this Blade thing plays out. So there's been a shitload of Marvel movie news while I've been on the shelf. But we're back next week. More Marvel movie news when the Captain Marvel trailer drops. All right, it's time for the social media shout-outs. Rate and subscribe to us on iTunes and Podbean. You can also find us on Podcast Addict, Pocket Casters, and now Stitcher. If you're on iTunes, give us a star rating so we can have an average. I want to see how many stars we're worth. Like and share our page on Facebook at Generation X-Men. Share us to any X-Men fans who'd like to hear 2 Australians bang on about mutants for an hour. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at GenXmenPod for some behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and Meme Monday. Or you can contact us via Facebook IM or by email, generationxmenpodcast@gmail.com. So what's up for us next time, Brooksy?
Next episode is number 27, Season 3, Episode 1, Out of the Past, Part 1.
We're up to Season 3, and Out of the Past, Part 1 is one of my faves.
Yeah, you reckon?
Because this one, I've got some great memories about this one being on the end of a tape that I taped over twice. Right. Say there was The Matrix I was taped it over with, and then there's the end of Masters of the Universe, and at the end of that, it's got this episode.
Right.
Bonus scenes at the end of that one movie on the old VHS tape. Oh, wow. Season 2 done and dusted, we're up to Season 3. So it's got exciting stuff because that leads to the Phoenix Saga.
It does.
That's when stuff gets pretty iconic and memorable. Alright, that's it from us here at Generation X-Men. Hope you've had as much fun listening as we've had talking. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for your time and attention. Next week, we've got Out of the Past Part 1 with Breakdown, Tally Time, and Claw Draw. Like the Terminator, we'll be back, and we look forward to your company then. Thanks for hosting, Brooksy.
No worries, Bender. Take it easy, mate.
Thanks, matey. Bye-bye.
See ya.